All right, Shalom. First off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone. And this is Sid Shalom to the Akim out here that's doing again, pushing his work in truth and in sincerity. Okay, want to go on this video, okay, about what does the Bible say about snitching. Okay. And, a lot of people in the world, okay, streets, especially Jake, okay, when I say Jake, I'm talking about so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, okay, had this mentality about snitching. Heck, in Baltimore, they had a whole stop snitching um, era going on, okay, and, we're going to get into what does the Bible say about that, but, in reality, if you do a crime and, you have someone else that did a crime with you, okay, and you give up information to take a lesser charge, okay, or whatever, that's snitching, you informing. You even got people, or you got, so power, people just willing to just throw each other under the bus, okay, um, giving out more information than was needed, okay. But when you have somebody who isn't involved in the mess, okay, they get caught up in that mess, this is an innocent person, okay, they get caught up in that mess, right, though they don't want to, right, and they probably get back to, if they say or they give any information that's not snitching, is righteous, okay, and is really reproving and correcting, okay, and you got a lot of people who misconstrue that, okay, they hate the light, as we see with these other groups, okay, they hate the light, okay, because they love darkness, they love, not being caught, okay, that whole aspect. Now, the scripture says in 1 Timothy 5:22, it says, lay hands suddenly on no man, neither be partaker of other men's sins. Keep yourself pure. Okay? So, someone else could be doing something wrong. You don't get yourself involved in that. Okay? Especially when it comes down to these people that's of the world. Okay? Niggas. Okay? They don't understand what we, are part of. Okay? And what we preach, and the morals, the character that we have, okay, when it comes down to this faith, okay. But people in the world, we they may be cool and everything to a certain degree, right? But are we gonna, just throw them into a camp and expect them to be, upstanding brothers or even sisters? Throw them a garment just because we think that they cool? No, these people got demons on them. When it comes down to the brothers, that's a whole total different thing. And one of the thing about, if you did the crime, you're supposed to be able to do the time. Okay? Take whatever the consequences is that comes along with that. You know the risk that you was taking. Like when we come into this truth, We understand. You should understand the cost and what you're getting yourself into. Okay, so you got some bitch ass niggas who act like they don't know what they getting themselves into. So once Esau start putting that pressure on them, okay, they're gonna start telling on brothers. They're gonna start snitching and shit. You know, which is some whole shit, really. Okay, but that's one thing that we got to realize that you know um there are sincere being in this thing. You got to count the cost, being sincere, whatever it comes down with it. Because we're gonna get persecuted and all that stuff from the world, right? We got to be able to bear it, okay, and deal with whatever comes our way if the Lord, you know, finds it, that we need to go through that, okay. But when you go through, that pressure, you know, trying to find a way out by informing or telling somebody else or telling on someone else is not, the way to go. Okay, but you got some people that's gonna go that route because, they don't have faith. All men don't have faith. Okay. But in this regards, if you see somebody doing something wrong, you don't be a partaker in that. Okay? You keep yourself pure, keep yourself free from the sin. Okay? Um these people, they don't have the knowledge that we have, Heck, this could go to it does go to brothers, okay? Um cuz you got some brothers that are fucking knuckleheads too, man. You know, you doing some dumb shit. The next thing you know, you getting caught up in the middle of that stuff too. You in the middle of a council too, because of what another brother, done did or whatever the case may be, or didn't do. Okay. Um, this is Ephesians 5:11. It says, "And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them." Right, and that's what we, do. We supposed to correct these people, okay, or correct any type of wickedness, okay, when it pops up, especially if it comes down, to us. It ain't nothing wrong with letting a person know if you had the opportunity to correct that shit before it gets messy, okay? Hey, I don't like how you did this, uh, if you don't correct this, then I'm a have to, it's out of my hands at this point. Okay, you got some people on, because this happened to me, on a job site, and somebody would say, well, your job would ask you this question: what would you do if you saw, Johnny stealing 5 apples? The average person, they say, well, shit, I ain't gonna volunteer no information to them, you know. Um, I'm not going to snitch. That shit don't matter to me, you know. But the job is asking that question in regards to you saw it, you could get caught. They seen you see that, you know. Now you might have to tell whatever this guy name is, hey, you know, you got to stop that, you know. Why is you doing that, right? But the if he does it, then hey, that's what it is. Now you could tell them when they press you on that. Hey, we seen you was right there, right? You accomplice to this, you know. What do you can say? I told him not to do this shit, you know. But hey, he gonna do what he do, man. Like that's what it is. I thought he was doing. You might have somebody might say, well, you don't have to tell him everything. You can tell him that you thought he was gonna do it with something else, you know. Now, this is one of the things of being an accomplice, right? Because the scriptures talk about those things, right? And I asked ChatGPT, right, about that. Okay, what does the Bible say about snitching? Okay, the Bible does not directly use the term snitching, but it does address related concepts like honesty, truth telling, justice, and betrayal, right? Now, you got the whole act of betrayal, right? Which you got people, they're going to be betraying one another. That's what's going to happen, okay? Because these people out here ain't fucking trustworthy, you know? And a lot of these people, 2/3 of them, fuck these niggas, man. They're gonna get put to death, man. Okay? The Lord gonna put them to death. It's Proverbs 12:22. The Lord detests lying lips, but he delights in people who are trustworthy. These people aren't trustworthy. Okay? Um, Ephesians 4:25. Therefore, each of you must put off falsehood, right? Trying to claim to be this straight gangster and all that stuff, and speak truthfully to your neighbor. For we are all members of one body. We got to tell the truth to one another. Okay? Correct them. Because the Lord, ultimately, Yahweh Shai sees everything. Okay? He sees everything and he sees what you're doing. Okay? No, don't get that wrong. Just because, a job might not see nothing, but the Lord sees something. Especially if it's, you're not correcting, wicked behavior. It's like you're a partaker of that too. It says, these verses emphasize the importance of honesty and integrity, justice and accountability. It says, Leviticus 5:1, if anyone sins because they do not speak up when they hear a public charge to testify regarding something they have seen or learned about, they will be held responsible. Okay? Let's see what that is in the Amplified version. Okay? Leviticus 5:1, right? In the KJV, if a soul sin and hear the voice of swearing and is a witness, whether he has seen or known of it, if he do not utter it, then he shall bear his iniquity. Amplified version. If anyone sins after he hears a public adjuration, it says a solemn command to testify when he is a witness, whether he has seen or otherwise known something, if he fails to report it, then he will bear his guilt and be held responsible. Okay? So, you have to let it be known, okay, when it comes down to this faith. Now, in the world, I'm not sitting up here saying you need to go just tell somebody, you got drug dealers down the street, call the cops on these niggas. I don't call the cops, the fuck Esau. These niggas, if something do go down, I ain't gonna just say fuck Esau, because they are, for a purpose, okay? They are a purpose. So Salakia, forgive me for that, okay? Um, if something does happen, somebody break into something or break your car, you call the cops. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? Um, I'm just saying, as far as these people out here, because that's how they operate. You snitching, so now we gonna come after you. We gonna kill your family. We gonna do that. This, that, or whatever. You just gotta be wise with it. That's what I was really trying to say. Okay. Um, and that a lot of these niggas ain't gonna fucking wake up and get it anyway. But in this truth is a whole total different ordeal. Okay, because we are the judges. Okay. And if a brother go off, we gotta, say what happened. If we don't speak up and say what we saw happen, we are guilty. And the Lord sees that. Okay? Now in this world, using wisdom and stuff like that, giving anonymous tips and all that stuff, some people be doing that. Some people, will give an anonymous tip or say something, if they knew that they could get some type of money from off of something, then they'll turn that person in a heartbeat, and won't even think about it, you know. Um, and that's just how it is. But if you're doing the right thing, you know, and if that person was doing the right thing, then there ain't no snitching involved, man. You ain't getting in trouble. Okay? Trouble is for people who are fucking wicked and they deserve whatever the fuck they get. Okay? You in trouble. You thought it was cool, right? The scripture said was you were saved when you committed abomination. Okay? No, you can neither blush. You was getting away with it. It was good. It was all fine and dandy, and you didn't care whether it hurt the next person. Okay? Or what effect it may have on the next person. So you can't have citizens like that in the kingdom of heaven. Okay? All that bullshit gotta go, and it's gonna go. And niggas gonna get exposed, man. But because the Lord is gonna do the exposing. Okay? To these people who are wicked and hot and shit. Okay? So, with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. I want to say shalom till next time.